What happened while we were away brought to you by Invasion with a Side of Insurrection. Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducted worksite enforcement actions around Los Angeles, California late last week. Those caught up in ICE sting operations include Quang Phan, an illegal alien from Vietnam with a criminal history that includes a conviction for second-degree murder for opening fire and shooting up a high school graduation party. Rolando Veneracion Enriquez, a 55-year-old from the Philippines who was convicted of burglary, sexual penetration with a foreign object, and assault with intent to commit rape. Lionel Sanchez Laguna, a 55-year-old Mexican. His criminal history includes battery on a spouse or cohabitant, willful cruelty to a child, and driving under the influence. 44-year-old Armando Ordaz of Mexico. Ordaz's criminal history includes sexual battery, receiving known or stolen property, and petty theft. Around 45 in total were arrested in raids in Los Angeles. Naturally, this happened.
From here, look at the flag. Yeah, Guy, I see
there it is.
You
Mexican flag can,
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic.
There's no violence where anybody that was protesting hit anybody, shot anybody, threatened anybody. Nothing has happened.
I have zero confidence. He's acting recklessly. He's acting unlawfully. He's putting people's lives at risk. And it's my job to clean up Donald Trump's mess.
Just based on previous protests that we've covered, tempers get extremely short. There aren't a lot of bathrooms. People get hungry. Opportunists come in, agitators come in, looking to try to seal the narrative or a turn.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that. But remember, a lot of these peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion by arresting people who are showing up for their immigration hearings.
The vast majority of protesters and demonstrators are peaceful. They're passionate.
You told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
And President Trump deployed 2,000 National Guardsmen to California in Los Angeles to help quell the riots. Border Czar Tom Homan had nothing good to say, of course, about California leadership.
I'd love to get your response to Governor Newsom saying, essentially, that your actions here are provocative, and the quote that he used was sowing chaos.
Governor Newsom's an embarrassment for the state. He's the one that's feeding this mantra. He supports sanctuary cities. He supports sanctuary laws. If he cared about public safety in the state of California, he would not have a sanctuary for criminals, where criminals get released to the streets of this state every day because of his policy.
President Trump says California leaders could get arrested if they get in the way of ICE enforcement.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden. They will stand in the way of law and order. Yeah, they will face charges.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, watching her own country's flag being flown abroad in violent and destructive riots, is actively fomenting said riots, expressing solidarity with the illegals. In recent weeks, she's expressed disdain for the big, beautiful bill because it has a provision within it that taxes remittances from the United States to foreign countries at a rate of 3.5%. Remittances are basically where illegals come and work here in the United States and then send their money back to their home country. Speaking of the big, beautiful bill, Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt says he doesn't want to tax remittances at 3.5%. He says he's introducing legislation that would tax remittances at 15%. Here he is talking to the Daily Signal recently.
The jobs are shipped overseas for cheaper labor, slave labor, and nobody really wanted to talk about that. There was certainly a motive behind that. And then the people who were left behind in many ways were replaced with cheap, illegal, or mass migration here. And people are smart. And when you're in a state like Missouri, and I ran statewide 3 times in 6 years, you get around and and you talk to people. And Missouri was for a long time very much a bellwether state. You've got urban, suburban, exurban, rural. You got Southeast Missouri is much more like the South, and Northwest Missouri is much more like Nebraska. It's a sort of the cultural crossroads of the country. And when you get around and you talk to people, That's what they couldn't believe what was happening. And so when Joe Biden's letting 15 million people here illegally, people don't understand, how could the president of our country allow this? And the answer is that he bought into and was captured by this worldview that there wasn't anything particularly unique, that America was just some economic zone with an airport attached to it. And what we're saying is, no, America's much more than that. It's our home. We're a people, and we believe in things, and that we ought to be fighting for the dignity of the guy that doesn't have the PhD, but who wants to work, and he wants to be able to raise a family, and he wants his kids to have a better life. So I think it's important, before we talk about the future and where this goes, is we had to talk about the past, and there has to be a reckoning with what went wrong.
And finally, remember a couple of years ago when Elon Musk and Donald Trump had their big, beautiful beef where Elon Musk said President Trump was on the Epstein list? Well, looky here. Musk is now positively and supportively posting screenshots from Trump's Truth Social account. I'd almost forgotten about that beef. And that's what happened while we were away.